Sada Shiva Samarambam
Sada Shiva Samarambam
Shankaracharya Madhyamam
Shankaracharya
Madhacharya Parantyam
Asmat Acharya
Param
Vande Guru Parampara.
Vande Guru Parampara.
Okay, so this is the first class of Dakshinamurti Stotram. Could everybody mute, please, as well? Thank you. Please, por favor. Okay, Dakshinamurti Stotram. It's the final text that Swami Ratmananda teaches in his short series of Advaita Vedanta texts that of Adi Shankaracharya's Advaita Vedanta text. We've only went through, you and us guys here in the class have only went through 3 of those texts together. Dirkta Shaveka, Sadhana Panchakam, and we've done Bhajagovindam, although Swami Ratmananda doesn't teach Bhajagovindam in that short series. And there are more other ones we want to look at as well. I want to look at Vivekachudamani, which is 108 verses. Well, it's 500 verses or something, but it's condensed to 108 special ones that Swami Paramarthananda has chosen. Then also we should look at as well, Mandukya Karika by Gaudapada, that's included as well. But because Swami Ratmananda taught Dakshinamurti Stotram immediately after Lagyu Vakyavritti, because they follow on so well together, it was my thinking that we should just go ahead and do the last one in the series, because it's a good upgrade to the previous text that we've looked at. So just to be really clear about this text, Dakshinamurti Stotram, this text, it's one of the best of Adi Shankaracharya's works. Certainly one of the best of his short works. The teachings are very, very profound. They're very beautiful. And when we look at Vedantic teachings, many of them are very dry. People external to Vedanta, and even people that haven't assimilated, the required amount of jnana for them, think that the world of Advaita, of non-duality, is unfeeling and cold and current. And that's because they're looking at there's no need or reliance on relationships, there's no need and reliance on objects, there's no need and reliance to be happy, there's no fear from sadness. So they kind of see it as unfeeling when it's not like that at all. Because Vedanta doesn't teach us to be unfeeling. Vedanta just shows us that it's okay for any feelings. That's freedom, any feelings. It's okay for this person to be sad. So what? Yeah, that's the simulated jnana. Okay, so it looks as if Vedantic teachings are dry, and some of them can be that way even for Vedantins, but that makes them hard to get into, hard to assimilate. Lampshade's doing something there in the, I don't know what he's doing, something with his neck thing. Lampshade's a new dog that I'm with. That sounds funny. Okay, so anyway, yeah. Lampshade, I know it's going crazy there on the side. Anyway, the Vedantic teachings can be dry and they can be hard to get into. But we're going to see in these 10 verses of this text teachings that are rich in Vedanta, and they're presented beautifully as well. This entire Stotram, it's the prayer to God in particular. Of course, God is formless. Ishwar is formless. And even when we look at, if we will go into Naradi Bhakti Sutram, we probably will, that, which isn't a Vedanta text, but it's so important, it's taught in Vedanta, that we go from seeing, regarding God as God, or Ishwara, or Bhagavan, we even drop all those things because God is formless. So, but in this context, the Stotram is a prayer to God, and in particular to Lord Shiva, in the form of Dakshinamurti. So it's not only a poem and a prayer, it's filled with the highest teachings of Vedanta are within this prayer. Sometimes there's confusion in what Adi Shankaracharya taught, or what he wrote, should I say, what's attributed to him. And this is because his students, quite often, his closest students, especially 4 students in particular, would teach the way he exactly taught as well. So there can be little difference in what they're saying. You know, so, but this is almost certainly, Swami Tarapananda feels that it's almost certainly, there's no doubt, that this was taught, or this was wrote by Adi Shankaracharya. The 10 verses, they're preceded by a number of dhyana slokas, that's prayer verses. And they weren't wrote by Adi Shankaracharya, but they're included. I think they were wrote later on, well, they would have been wrote later on, but they're included because they're important. They are rich in symbolism. And in order to understand this, we need to look at who Lord Shiva is. And we look at this in 2 different ways when we're looking to translate Dakshinamurti. There's 2 ways of breaking up that word for meaning. The first explanation of the word is one whose form is facing south. And the second explanation is one who is skillful and who is formless. Both are equally important, and we're going to look at it now a little bit. I wonder why, does anybody wonder why it's said that God is formless? Because there is form of God. Because God is all forms and the absence of forms. Yeah. So what form does God have? God is every form and no forms. But that's what I'm just digressing slightly. That's what it means by that. In regard to the second explanation of God, the one who is skillful and who is formless, what is meant by skillful? We're speaking about Lord Shiva here as a teacher, as the teacher, the Adi Guru, the first teacher. So skillful in removing the ignorance of students. And Murti in Dakshinamurti means formless. Because we're not talking about humans. We're talking about Ishvara, God. Of course, all form is God. So God can be represented in form because God is form. But God is not just form. Because then we're putting on limitation on God. In regard to the first meaning, Lord Dakshinamurti is in a shrine in the wall of the temple, always facing south. But it's curious why south, because south isn't associated with anything pleasant. South is associated with death, ignorance, and all the things you don't want in life. So why should this deity face south? Well, why should the deity not face south? Why should Lord Shiva in the form of Dakshinamurti not face south? Why should Lord Shiva fear or worry about death, ignorance, all those kind of things? Huh? In fact, if Lord Dakshinamurti is facing south, then the students are facing him north. So Dakshinamurti isn't a common main deity in ashrams. There are only a few temples in which Dakshinamurti is the main deity, though there are hundreds of temples where the deity is present on the south-facing wall. In our lineage, our parampara, the Arsha, it's been called now the Arsha Sampradaya. You can Google Arsha Sampradaya, and you would see a website that Arsavidya, direct disciples of Puja Swamiji, have created. They refer themselves as Arshas and Pradya because they're teaching in a specific way that Puja Swamiji, Swami Dayananda taught. But in our parampara, our lineage, Puja Swami Dayananda has chosen Dakshinamurti, Shiva, as the main deity in Arsavidya temples, and that is unusual. The deity in Sealersburg, Pennsylvania, that was the first Puja Swamiji. Swami Chimayanda was meant to go to USA once to teach, and he was feeling ill health at the time. So Puja Swamiji, Swami Dayananda was sent in his place. And previously there had been Swami Dayananda had been given suggestions about ways to systemize the teaching to make it more effective and more quicker. Instead of like the 8 years or 9 years, to bring it down to a more condensed version. But Swami Chimayanda didn't want that. So there was a difference of opinion. And Swami Dayananda had this opinion from his own sadhana under Swami Chimayanda. I'm not saying anything derogatory to the Chimaya mission, but this is what Swami Dayananda taught his direct disciples. Swami Tapananda speaks about this, so this is the way it was. So Swami Dayananda was sent to America without Swami Chimayanda, and Swami Dayananda decided to open up an ashram in his own way. So, and this is the first ashram that was opened up. It was in America. Once the ashram was opened up, there's nothing Swami Chimayanda could say about it. It was opened and that was it. So that's where the kind of separation, if we'll say, or that's when the separate expressions of teaching came into play. But this ashram was in Sealersburg, Pennsylvania, and the deity that's there was carved in India and transported in and around 1991. It was consecrated in Sealersburg, and 6 years later, his ashram in Coimbatore, India, was inaugurated as well. So he made the ashram later. The USA ashram was first because he had the space to create it. And so 6 years later, he done one in India. Swami Dayananda. So then in Somerset, New Jersey, a small form of the deity was also placed. And Swami Dayananda, Puja Swamiji, paid for the one in Somerset, New Jersey, Swami Tapananda's ashram. He commissioned it, got it carved in India, paid for it to get it carved in India. Swami Dayananda did, and transported it for free as a gift to Swami Tapananda, which of course was very, very special. But why did Puja Swamiji pick this deity as the main deity for ashrams? And the reason is that in an ashram where Advaita Vedanta is taught, there can't be a more important deity. Dakshinamurti is not just south-facing. Dakshinamurti is skillful in removing ignorance, because Dakshinamurti is Lord Shiva as a teacher, as the first teacher in our parampara, our lineage. Our lineage stretches back to Dakshinamurti, to Lord Shiva, to the Adi Guru, the first Guru. And this Stotra, it's 10 verses. Preceding it is what is called Dhyana Sloka, meditation verses. And these are recited first to get an image in one's mind for the sake of prayer, for the sake of meditation. The intro verses, they're the Dhyana Slokas, they're from various sources. Okay. That's just an introduction, guys, to the first class, or introduction to the whole thing, really. First class will be Monday. I prefer more classes over the weekend. We could likely have classes most days next week, man. Okay. There's the 6 verses. There's the 6 Dhyana Slokas, and then there's 10 verses for the Stotram itself. Okay, guys. Any questions? Very quick class today. You're okay, Ian. Judy, you look okay. Vicky, you're smiling. Any questions?
Yeah, Muti, that means formless. is then Dakshina, does that mean skillful?
Dakshina, did I not write what Dakshina, you know, I'll have to go and see what Dakshinamurti, I'll have to go and check this here. It was in my mind, I must have put it in the class notes. Bear with me, I'll tell you now. I will tell you exactly now. Let me fall back on Swami Paramathananda. Give me a moment. As well as going through the class, as well as going through again the class, the way that Swami Padmananda taught, I always cross-reference, if I can, Swami Paramathananda, his teachings. Of course, the teaching is teaching a bit of a different way. Well, it's always good because Swami Paramathananda goes into an awful lot of detail. You know, I'll tell you now what Dakshinamurti means. If I can't find it. Stotram means glorification. Murti, the word Dakshina has two meanings. The first is Murti, which means the form or the personality, the form of the deity. And the word Dakshina means facing the south direction. Yeah. But Dakshina, there's also different kinds of Dakshina. There's not Dakshina, which is Guru Dakshina, which means the compensation or offering. It's also Dakshina. So, but in this case, it faces south facing. Means that Dakshinamurti means the deity that is facing south and the southern direction. Yeah. And from that, their implication, we know that all other deities are not facing southern. Okay. So Dakshinamurti is a unique deity, the only deity which is facing southern. So every direction has got a deity. I'm just reading through Swami Paramathananda's stuff here. Yeah, so the south. Let me just find this important stuff. Okay. So looks of south facing is for things to do with mortality, finitude, lack, finite person, a wanting person, discontentment, dissatisfaction, fear, lack, as I said, desire. All these put together are samsara. And so we are afraid of facing south. In traditional houses, they never in India, they don't allow you to do anything facing south. Even if you want to take medicine, you don't do it facing south. Therefore, the entire humanity is afraid of southern direction because they're under the grip of yama, mortality. Dakshinamurti is the only one who's not afraid of facing south. I'm reading from Swami Paramathananda here. Because Dakshinamurti is the only one who is not under the grip of yama, mortality, who's not limited by time, who's conquered time. By facing southern direction, Dakshinamurti tells, Dakshinamurti has conquered mortality. And anyone who wants to conquer mortality, come to me. Anyone who wants to conquer mortality, come to me. Yeah, okay, that's it really. Okay, guys, any more questions, Vicky? Good. Everybody good then, yeah? We'll have a class then, hopefully. Well, it will be on Monday if you guys are available Monday, and probably through the rest of the week then, okay? We'll start with the Dhyana slokas. Okay, guys? Namaste then. Bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.